Welcome to Story Tales. Please like this video and subscribe to Story Tales. I hope you enjoy the story. Let's begin. Rain battered the windshield as August Broderick gripped his steering wheel with calloused hands. The wipers fought a losing battle against the downpour, each desperate swipe clearing his view for only a moment before the Oregon storm reclaimed its territory. Water streamed down the glass in chaotic rivulets, distorting the world outside. The gray afternoon had turned the familiar roads of Wallowa Ridge into something alien and threatening that August's workshop radio had warned of flash flood potential, but he'd pushed through to finish the day's work anyway. The Thompson Project deadline loomed, and August prided himself on never missing one. That was his reputation in town: solid, dependable, a man of his word. The half-finished wrought iron railings sat in his workshop, intricate curves frozen mid-creation. His phone rang through the car speakers, an unknown number. August pressed the button on his steering wheel, the brief hope that it was his supplier with news about delayed materials fading as quickly as it had formed. "Hello, Mr. Broderick?" A woman's voice, clinical and measured, with a particular cadence of someone delivering practice bad news. "This is Wallowa Ridge Memorial Hospital. Your wife has been in an accident." August's stomach dropped, a physical sensation like stepping off a cliff. The road ahead blurred, not from rain but from the sudden rush of blood to his head. His fingers tightened on the wheel until his knuckles whitened. "Is she?" He couldn't finish the question, the possibility too terrible to voice. "She's alive, but in critical condition," the voice continued, each word precise. "She sustained head trauma and is currently unconscious. We need you to come in immediately." Time seemed to compress. August thought of Hollis, her dark hair spread across their pillowcase that morning, the quick kiss goodbye, her promise to pick up Alara from school. He thought of his daughter, waiting, unaware that her world was about to shift. "Mr. Broderick? Are you there?" "Yes," he managed. "Yes, I'm here." His workshop could wait. The half-finished railings for the Thompson Project could wait. Everything could wait. He hit his turn signal and pulled a U-turn in the middle of the road, tires splashing through a deep puddle, sending a wave of water over the curb. "I'm on my way." The hospital smelled of antiseptic and fear. August sat in a molded plastic chair, his large, calloused hands clasped between his knees. A doctor with tired eyes had explained the situation. Hollis's car had hydroplaned off Sawmill Road, rolling twice before hitting a tree. She was in a coma. They didn't know when or if she would wake up. August rubbed his face, feeling the stubble scrape against his palm. He had to pick up Alara from school, had to tell his 10-year-old daughter that her mother might never speak to her again. The drive to Ridgeline Elementary was silent, except for the occasional crackle of the police scanner he kept in his truck, a habit from his brief stint as a volunteer firefighter years ago. August tried to organize his thoughts, to find the right words, but nothing came. When Alara slid into the passenger seat, her bright backpack clutched to her chest, she knew something was wrong immediately. "Dad? Where's Mom? She was supposed to pick me up today." August swallowed hard. "Your mom was in an accident, Elle. She's in the hospital." Alara's brown eyes widened. "Is she going to be okay?" "I don't know yet. We're going to see her now." The hospital hallways seemed endless. August held Alara's small hand in his as a nurse led them to the ICU. Room 412. The door was partially open, and August paused at the threshold, bracing himself. Hollis lay still as death, her normally animated face slack, dark hair fanned across the pillow. Tubes and wires connected her to machines that beeped steadily. August felt Alara's hand tighten in his. "She looks like she's sleeping," Alara whispered. August nodded, unable to speak. He approached the bed slowly, pulling a chair closer for Alara. The nurse explained the monitors, Hollis's condition, the tests they'd run, but August only half listened. He studied his wife's face, searching for some sign of the woman he'd married 12 years ago. Had it really been that long? Sometimes it felt like yesterday. Hollis spinning across the dance floor at her sister's wedding, her laugh cutting through the music, her eyes finding his across the room. August had never believed in love at first sight until that moment. "Mr. Broderick? Did you hear me?" The nurse's voice pulled him back. "Sorry, what?" "I said we'll need to run more tests tomorrow. You should take your daughter home. Get some rest. We'll call if there's any change. August nodded. He stood, but Alara didn't move. Just one more minute, Dad? Please. He couldn't refuse her. 1 minute. August stepped into the hallway to speak with the nurse about visiting hours. When he returned a few minutes later, Alara was standing by the door, her face pale. Ready to go, kiddo? She nodded, but as they walked down the corridor, she tugged his sleeve. Dad, I need to tell you something. August stopped, kneeling to meet her eyes. What is it? Alara glanced around, then leaned close to his ear. Mom is awake. She's faking it. A cold wave washed over August. What are you talking about, Elle? Her voice trembled. When you left the room, I saw her. She sat up and was texting someone. Then she heard the nurse coming and laid back down real quick. August's mind raced. Are you sure? Maybe you thought you saw. I recorded it. Alara pulled out the small phone they'd gotten her for emergencies. Look, the video was shaky but clear. Hollis, supposedly comatose, sitting upright in bed, fingers moving rapidly across a phone screen. Then, the sound of footsteps. Hollis quickly hiding the phone under her blanket, returning to her unconscious state just before a nurse entered the frame. The video ended that August's heart hammered in his chest. He kept his face neutral, aware of his daughter watching him. Let's not say anything right now, okay? He said quietly. We need to think about this. Alara nodded, her eyes wide with confusion and hurt. August stood, his mind already calculating. He returned to Hollis's room, his wife still motionless, the perfect picture of a coma patient. Nurse, he called, his voice steady despite the storm inside him. My daughter and I need some air. We'll be back tomorrow. Outside, the rain had stopped, but water still dripped from the trees and buildings. August helped Alara into the truck, buckling her seatbelt as he'd done 1,000 times before. Are you mad at Mom? Alara asked as they pulled out of the parking lot. August gripped the steering wheel tighter. I don't know what I am right now, Elle, but I know I need to understand what's happening before we do anything. At home, August moved through the evening routine, mechanically dinner, homework check, Alara's bath. After tucking her in, he sat in the darkness of his home office, Alara's phone propped against his computer monitor. He'd watched the video a dozen times now. That IT wasn't just a fake coma that bothered him. It was the calculation in Hollis's movements, the practiced ease with which she returned to her role. How long had she been planning this? And why fake a car accident? Unless the accident wasn't fake. Unless someone had tried to kill her. The thought came unbidden, unwelcome. August shook his head. No, that made no sense. If someone wanted Hollis dead, why would she be faking a coma? Unless she was hiding from someone or hiding something. August leaned back in his chair, memories flooding back. The first years of their marriage, so full of warmth and promise. Hollis had been vibrant then, her dance studio thriving. He remembered how she would practice in their living room after hours, moving with a grace that still took his breath away. But things had changed. 3 years ago, maybe 4. The late-night phone calls she took in the garage. The dance workshops that never seemed to have any online presence. The gradual coldness that had crept into their bed. August had told himself he was imagining things. That marriage evolved. That Hollis was just busy with her career. Now, watching her pretend to be comatose to avoid him, the consequences of her actions. August felt a fool. He turned to his computer and opened their shared laptop. Hollis had always been careless with her passwords. He found her email easily enough, but most of it was mundane studio business, parent emails, retail promotions. Then he noticed a folder he hadn't seen before, tucked away in a nested series of directories. It was labeled simply LK. Inside were dozens of encrypted files and an email thread August couldn't fully access. But there were fragments, snippets of conversations between Hollis and someone named Lennox Keener. August suspects nothing. As always, he sees what he wants to see. The account is set up. Just waiting on the transfer of assets. After this is done, we'll have our freedom. August's hand shook as he closed the laptop. He needed help, but who could he trust? The cops? Without evidence of an actual crime, they'd laugh him out of the station. Hollis's sister Kinley? They'd never gotten along. Kinley might tip Hollis off. There was only one person August could think of, The neon sign of the rusty anchor cast a red glow across the rain-slicked parking lot, the letters buzzing with electricity and promise. August sat in his truck for a long moment, watching patrons come and go, postponing the inevitable. The windshield fogged with his breath as he rehearsed what to say. How did you tell someone your life was imploding? That the mother of your child was a fraud? Finally, he stepped out into the light drizzle, the gravel crunching under his boots. Country music spilled out each time the door opened, along with the familiar scent of beer and fried food. The bar was half empty, typical for a Tuesday night. A few regulars nursed drinks at scattered tables, while a young couple played pool in the corner, laughing as they missed easy shots. Behind the counter, Merritt Clausen was mixing a drink, her movements efficient and practiced. Her dark hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, a few strands escaping to frame her face. A face that had grown more lines since high school, but no less striking. She wore a faded Wallowa Wolverines t-shirt, their old high school mascot, and moved with the confidence of a woman comfortable in her own skin. She spotted August immediately, her eyebrows rising slightly in surprise. They'd known each other since they were kids, played in the same creek, climbed the same trees. They'd dated briefly in high school, first loves fumbling toward something like adulthood before life took them in different directions. August to trade school, and then marriage, Merritt to a business degree she never used, and a bar she inherited from her uncle. After August's parents died in the accident 5 years ago, Merritt had been the one to help him sort through their belongings, the one who made sure he ate during those bleak weeks. Hollis had been busy with a dance competition in Seattle. At least, that's what she claimed. Well, look what the cat dragged in, Merritt said as he took a stool at the bar, her voice carrying the particular warmth reserved for old friends. Thought you were too good for this place these days. There was no real bite to her words, just the easy ribbing of someone who knew your history. She set a glass of water in front of him without asking. She'd always remembered he rarely drank when troubled. August managed a weak smile, removing his damp jacket. Never that. Just busy. Life gets away from you. Merritt studied his face, her own expression softening. You look like hell, Gus. What's wrong? He glanced around to make sure no one was listening. Hollis was in an accident today. She's in the hospital. God, I'm sorry. Is she okay? That's the thing. She's supposedly in a coma, but... August pulled out Alara's phone and slid it across the bar. Merritt watched the video, her face hardening. What the actual hell? I don't know what's going on, August admitted, but I found emails. She's been talking to some guy named Lennox Keener. They have plans that involve me not knowing things. Merritt handed the phone back, her eyes serious. Gus, if Hollis is faking a coma, she's playing with fire. Medical fraud is serious business. I know, but why? What's she up to? Could be anything. Insurance scam. Setting up an alibi. Buying time. Merritt leaned closer. Whatever it is, don't let her win. Don't let her see you coming. August nodded, feeling the first stirrings of a plan. I need to dig deeper, find out what she's planning. And you need to protect Alara, Merritt added. If Hollis is willing to go this far, who knows what else she might do. The thought of his daughter being caught in whatever game Hollis was playing made August's blood run cold. I won't let her hurt Alara. Good. Merritt refilled his water glass. Start digging. I'll see what I can find out about this Lennox character. And Gus, watch your back. As August drove home, the rain started again, lighter now, but persistent. Droplets caught the glow of streetlights, turning to liquid gold before disappearing into darkness. August rolled down the window slightly, letting the cool air flow across his face. He needed to clear his head to process everything that was happening. The wipers marked a steady rhythm, like a metronome counting the beats of his thoughts. Had there been signs he'd missed? How many times had Hollis lied to his face? How many dance workshops had actually been rendezvous with Lennox Keener? The memories replayed with new context her growing distance. The whispered phone calls, the unexplained weekend trips, the way she sometimes looked at him with something like pity. August had attributed it all to the natural evolution of a long marriage, to stress, to her artistic temperament. He'd been raised to weather storms, to fix what was broken, to stand by his commitments. His father's voice echoed in his mind. A Broderick doesn't walk away when things get hard. So he tried harder, worked more, given her space, all while the suspicion grew like a tumor in his gut. Now that tumor had been diagnosed, its malignancy confirmed. His wife was a stranger to him, had been for some time. The woman he'd fallen in love with, the passionate dancer with the infectious laugh, who'd once looked at him like he was the answer to every question. That woman was gone. Perhaps she never really existed at all. August turned onto his street, the familiar houses of his neighbors sliding past like cardboard cutouts. Nothing felt real anymore. The life he'd built, the marriage he'd invested in, the family he'd protected, it was all constructed on quicksand. His hands tightened on the steering wheel. He'd been played for a fool, but that ended now. He needed to find out exactly what Hollis was planning, what she'd already done, and just how dangerous this stranger wearing his wife's face might be. For his sake, but more importantly, for Alara's. Because one thing was absolutely clear as August pulled into his driveway and stared at the home he'd built with his own hands. He would protect his daughter, whatever the cost. August's phone rang at 6:17 a.m. He'd been awake for hours, lying in bed watching dawn creep across the ceiling, replaying the video of Hollis's deception over and over in his mind. Mr. Broderick? This is Dr. Patel from Wallowa Ridge Memorial. Your wife is awake. August sat up slowly. Awake? Yes, she regained consciousness about 30 minutes ago. She's disoriented but stable. We're running tests, but she's asking for you. I'll be there soon. August hung up, staring at the phone in his hand. So Hollis had decided to wake up. The game was advancing to its next phase that he woke Alara gently. Your mom's awake. The hospital called. Alara's eyes widened, but she was already awake. I showed you. I know, kiddo. August brushed her hair back from her forehead, and we're going to figure out why she was pretending. But for now, we need to act like we don't know, okay? Can you do that? Alara nodded solemnly. I can pretend too. August's heart ached at the determination in his daughter's voice. No child should have to navigate such twisted adult games. At the hospital, they found Hollis propped up in bed, looking pale but alert. Her eyes brightened when they entered. My loves, she said, voice raspy. Her arms opened for Alara, who hesitated just a fraction before stepping into her mother's embrace. August watched, keeping his face neutral. He'd spent the drive preparing himself, building walls around his thoughts. You scared us, he said, taking the chair beside the bed. He reached for her hand, the gesture automatic after years of marriage. Her fingers felt cold in his. The doctor says I don't remember the accident, Hollis said, her eyes searching his face. Was it bad? Your car rolled. You hit a tree. August kept his voice even, factual. The police said you were lucky. Hollis frowned. The last thing I remember is leaving the studio. Everything after that is just blank. August nodded, as if he believed her, as if he didn't see the careful way she was watching him, testing whether he suspected anything. The important thing is you're awake now, he said. You're going to be okay. Dr. Patel arrived with test results, and August took Alara to the cafeteria for breakfast. As they ate tasteless scrambled eggs, he considered his next move. What are we going to do, Dad? Alara asked, pushing her food around her plate. August leaned closer. We're going to bring Mom home, and we're going to find out what she's hiding. The plan formed as he spoke. He would play the devoted husband, give Hollis enough rope to hang herself. Meanwhile, he'd gather evidence, build a case. Whatever Hollis and this Lennox person were planning, August would be ready. 3 days later, Hollis came home. August had prepared the guest bedroom, so you don't have to climb the stairs to our room, he explained, and stocked the kitchen with her favorite foods. On the surface, he was the perfect caretaker. Beneath, he was setting his trap. While Hollis napped that afternoon, August installed small cameras in the common areas of the house. Nothing in the bathrooms or bedrooms. He still had some boundaries, but the living room, kitchen, and hallways were now under surveillance. He told Alara they were just in case Mom needs help when we're not watching. That night, after Alara went to bed, August brought Hollis a cup of tea. How are you feeling? He asked, sitting on the edge of the guest bed. Hollis sipped the tea, her eyes never leaving his face. Better. The headaches are less intense. That's good. August studied the woman across from him. Had she always been this good at lying? Or had he just been too trusting to notice? The doctor said your memory might come back in pieces. Maybe. Hollis set the cup down. August, there's something I need to tell you. His pulse quickened. What is it? Before the accident, I was thinking about taking some time away. A friend offered me a residency at a dance retreat in New Mexico. 3 months. I was driving to meet her when I crashed. The lies slid from her lips so smoothly. August wondered how many times she'd rehearsed it. You never mentioned a retreat, he said carefully. Hollis looked down. I was afraid you'd be upset. We haven't been connecting lately. I thought some distance might help. August took her hand, forcing warmth into his touch. You should have told me. I want you to be happy, Hollis. Relief flickered across her face. She believed he was falling for it. Thank you for understanding. Once I'm stronger, I might still go. Of course. August stood. Whatever you need. Get some rest now. In his office, August watched the camera feeds on his computer. The blue glow of the monitor cast harsh shadows across his face as he stared at the screen, a tumbler of whiskey untouched at his elbow. He'd installed the system that afternoon simple but effective surveillance cameras disguised as smoke detectors and wall outlets. The kind you could buy online with next-day delivery, no questions asked. Within 20 minutes of his leaving Hollis alone, the transformation was remarkable. All traces of fatigue vanished from her movements, her posture straightening as if unburdened. She paced the guest bedroom with predatory grace, checking the hallway before locking the door. Then she retrieved a phone, not her regular one, but a slim, black model August had never seen before from beneath the mattress. She spoke in low tones, but the microphones he'd placed were sensitive enough to pick up fragments. He doesn't suspect anything. Complete idiot. Actually, yes, I'll stick to the timeline. Need to move the money soon. The account is working perfectly. They'll never trace it. Miss you too, she laughed then, a sound August once found beautiful. Now it struck him as hollow. Performative. Had it always been that way? When she ended the call, she checked her reflection in the mirror, practicing a pained expression that she'd worn for him not 30 minutes earlier. August's jaw clenched so hard he felt pain radiating up to his temple. The whiskey remained untouched. He needed clarity now, not comfort. The woman on the screen was a stranger wearing his wife's face, a stranger who had shared his bed, raised his child, and apparently plotted against him for years. He rewound the footage, watched it again, then a third time. Each viewing revealed new subtleties of deception, new layers of calculation that he'd been a fool for years, it seemed. But no longer. The next morning, he drove to Merritt's house. She lived above her bar in a small but tidy apartment, and was surprised to see him at her door so early. Hollis is home, he said as Merritt let him in. She's supposedly recovering from amnesia. Merritt snorted. And you're supposedly buying it? As far as she knows. August accepted the coffee Merritt offered. I've got cameras in the house now. She's definitely up to something with this Lennox guy. About him. Merritt pulled out her laptop. I did some digging. Lennox Keener, 46, tech investor. Made his money in the dot-com boom. Lost a chunk in 2008, built it back since then. He's got a reputation for aggressive investments and walking the legal line. How do you know all this? Merritt gave him a look. You forget my brother's a financial advisor? Anyway, the interesting part is Lennox is currently under investigation by the SEC. Rumor has it he's been defrauding small investors, moving money offshore. August felt sick, and Hollis is involved. Maybe. There's more. Merritt clicked through some documents. I called in a favor with my cousin at the county records office. Someone opened a joint account at First Panama Bank 3 weeks ago, under the names August and Hollis Broderick. The room seemed to tilt. I never opened any account. Exactly. But your social security number is on the paperwork. And guess when the account was activated? The day after Hollis's accident. The pieces were falling into place. So she fakes a coma to establish a timeline. If authorities come looking, she can claim she was unconscious when the account was opened. She couldn't possibly have done it. And you get left holding the bag, Merritt finished. Classic Patsy setup. August ran a hand through his hair. I need to talk to Alara. Find out what else she might know. That afternoon, August took Alara for ice cream while Hollis had her physical therapy appointment. They sat at a picnic table in the park, far from other people. "Elle, I need to ask you something important," August began. "Did you ever meet any of Mom's friends? Someone she might have spent a lot of time with?" Alara licked her chocolate cone, not meeting his eyes. "Like Mr. Lennox?" August froze. "You know him?" Alara nodded slowly. "He came to Mom's studio sometimes. He said he was a dance sponsor. Did you ever see them together?" August chose his words carefully that Alara's lower lip trembled. "2 months ago, I finished school early, and Mom said I could come to the studio instead of aftercare. When I got there, Mom was kissing Mr. Lennox. Like really kissing." August's heart sank. "What happened when they saw you?" "Mom got really mad. Then she promised to buy me a puppy if I didn't tell you." Alara's eyes filled with tears. "I wanted to tell you, Dad, but she said if I did, she might have to take me away from you. She said you'd be so angry you wouldn't want us anymore." August pulled his daughter into a tight hug, fury building in his chest. Using their child as a pawn, threatening to separate them, it was beyond manipulative. It was cruel. "Listen to me, Alara. Nothing can make me stop wanting you. Nothing. Your mom was wrong to say that, and wrong to make you keep secrets." "Are you going to leave, Mom?" Alara asked, her voice small. August wiped a tear from her cheek. "I don't know what's going to happen yet. But whatever does, you and I are a team. Always." As they walked back to the truck, August's phone buzzed with a text from Merritt. "Found something big. Call me ASAP." That evening, after getting Hollis settled for the night, August made the call. "Lennox Keener emptied an investment account 2 days ago," Merritt said without preamble. $5 million gone. His clients are freaking out, and the SEC is closing in. He's planning to run. And Hollis, my guess, she's his ticket out. New identities, your money funding their escape. Classic. Merritt paused. "You need to set a trap, Gus. Force her hand." August thought for a moment. "Kinley, Hollis's sister? The one who hates you. The very same." Hollis and Kinley have always had a complicated relationship. Kinley knows things about Hollis, things she wouldn't want me to know. You think Kinley knows about this scheme? Maybe not all of it, but enough. And unlike Hollis, Kinley can't hold her liquor or her tongue. The plan came together quickly. A family dinner, supposedly to celebrate Hollis's recovery. Kinley would be invited, plied with wine, and subtly steered toward revealing what she knew 2 nights later. August grilled steaks while Hollis set the table, moving with only a slight limp, the last remnant of her injuries. "It's nice of you to invite Kinley," Hollis said, eyeing him. "I know you two don't always get along." August flipped a steak. "She's your sister, and family should be together during recovery." Hollis smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "You've been so understanding, August. I don't deserve it." For once, they agreed on something. Kinley arrived with expensive wine and air kisses for everyone. August played his role, perfectly attentive husband, generous host. By the 3rd glass of wine, Kinley's filter began to slip. "So," she said, refilling her glass, "when are you heading to New Mexico for that dance retreat?" August caught the warning look Hollis shot her sister. "I'm not sure yet," Hollis said lightly. "I'm still recovering." Kinley snorted. "Please, you look fine to me. Besides, isn't the timeline getting tight? You said you had to be there by the 15th. "The instructors are being flexible," Hollis said through a tight smile. Kinley turned to August. "Did she tell you about the retreat center? It's gorgeous, right on the beach." August raised an eyebrow. "Beach? In New Mexico?" An awkward silence fell. Kinley looked confused, then horrified as she realized her mistake. "I'm in Arizona." She backpedaled poorly. "They have lake beaches, right?" August said, his tone mild despite the satisfaction coursing through him. "Arizona beaches are beautiful this time of year." Hollis quickly changed the subject, but the damage was done. After dinner, as Kinley prepared to leave, she pulled Hollis aside. August pretended not to notice, but positioned himself to hear their whispered argument. "You told him New Mexico." Kinley hissed. "I thought the plan was Cabo." "Shut up," Hollis snapped. "He's right there. So you're really going through with this? What about Alara? We discussed it. She'll be fine with August until things calm down. Then she'll join us." August's blood ran cold. They planned to take his daughter. After Kinley left, Hollis claimed fatigue and retired early. August waited until her light went out, then called Merritt. "I need a lawyer," he said without preamble. "Someone who knows fraud cases and custody battles." "I know just the guy," Merritt replied. "Silas Breeden. Doesn't talk much, but he's deadly in court. I'll text you his number." The next day, August met with Silas Breeden in a coffee shop 2 towns over. The lawyer was a thin, serious man with wire-rimmed glasses and a manner that suggested he missed nothing. Financial fraud, identity theft, conspiracy, child endangerment, Silas listed after August explained the situation. "Potentially serious charges. But you'll need hard evidence. I have the video of her faking the coma. Phone recordings of her conversations with Keener. Bank documents showing accounts I never opened." Silas nodded. "Good start. But we need more. Direct evidence of their plans, preferably in their own words. And we need to move quickly if they're planning to flee the country." "How quickly?" "File the civil suit tomorrow. That freezes assets, puts her on alert. Then we watch and wait. People in a panic make mistakes." August agreed. He felt a strange calm settling over him, the calm of a man who finally saw his path clearly. That evening, Merritt called with news. "My bartender's cousin works at Channel 8 News. I may have anonymously sent them footage of a prominent local dance instructor faking a coma. They're running the story tomorrow. Hollis will know it came from me," August said. "Exactly. Pressure makes diamonds and mistakes." The trap was set. All that remained was to let Hollis walk into it. The next morning, August left before Hollis woke up, taking Alara to school himself. He deliberately left the TV on, tuned to the local news. Then he drove to Silas's office to file the lawsuit. WY noon. His phone was blowing up with calls and texts from Hollis. He ignored them all. The cameras showed her pacing the house, making frantic calls, periodically checking out the windows. Finally, she threw clothes into a bag and left. August followed at a safe distance. She drove to a lakeside cabin an hour outside town, a rental property owned by a shell company, according to Silas's quick research. August parked down the road and approached on foot, staying hidden among the trees. Through the cabin window, he saw Hollis and a tall, well-dressed man he assumed was Lennox Keener. They were arguing, gesturing wildly. August crept closer, activating the recording app on his phone. "Turned on me," Hollis was saying, her voice shrill. "He must have cameras in the house." "I told you to be more careful," Lennox snapped. "This is why I wanted to handle things myself. It doesn't matter now. We need to move." Hollis paced. "The news story is out. The accounts are frozen. It's only a matter of time before they connect everything. We still have the offshore money," Lennox said. "Enough to disappear for a while." "What about your daughter?" "Forget her," Hollis said, her voice hard. "She's the one who recorded me in the hospital." Little Trader probably told August everything. August's hand tightened around his phone. Hearing his wife dismiss their daughter so callously confirmed everything he needed to know. "We leave tonight," Lennox decided. "I have a new passports. We'll drive to Seattle, fly to Vancouver, then Bangkok. They'll never find us." "What about August? He could still cause problems." Lennox smiled coldly. "Leave that to me. I know people who can ensure he's too busy to chase us." That was enough. August retreated, called Silas, and forwarded the recording. Then he called the police. Within hours, squad cars surrounded the cabin. August watched from a distance as Hollis and Lennox were led out in handcuffs. Their faces were masks of shock. They hadn't expected consequences to find them so quickly. As the police cruisers pulled away, August felt no satisfaction, only a weary relief. The trap had sprung. The game was over. But the damage to his family, to his daughter's trust in the world that was just beginning to be understood. The county courthouse stood like a fortress of gray stone against the clear autumn sky. August straightened his tie as he climbed the steps, Alara's small hand clasped firmly in his. She wore a navy blue dress they bought specifically for this day, the day they would face Hollis in court for the first time since her arrest. "You okay, kiddo?" August asked, pausing at the top of the stairs. Alara nodded, but her grip tightened. "Will Mom be in handcuffs?" The question pierced August's heart. "No, not today, but there will be officers with her." Inside, they met Silas Breeden in the hallway outside Courtroom C. The lawyer nodded gravely. They're trying to get bail reduced, Silas informed them, claiming Hollis is a victim of Keener's manipulation. August's jaw clenched. She was a willing participant. The recordings prove that. I know. Silas adjusted his glasses. Judge Winters is fair. She'll see through it. They entered the courtroom, taking seats near the front. Minutes later, a side door opened, and Hollis appeared, escorted by a female officer. She wore a simple gray skirt suit, her hair pulled back severely from her face. When she spotted August and Alara, she tried to approach, but the officer held her back. August, please, Hollis called. Let me explain. Beside him, Alara shrank in her seat. August placed a protective arm around his daughter's shoulders. Not here, he said coldly. Not now. The judge entered, and everyone rose. The proceedings began with the formal reading of charges: fraud, conspiracy, identity theft, child endangerment. Hollis pleaded not guilty to all counts, her voice steady but small in the cavernous room. During a recess, Hollis's lawyer approached them in the corridor. Mrs. Broderick would like a moment with her family. The lawyer said, a woman with sharp features and sharper eyes. Silas stepped between them. That's not happening, counselor. Any communication goes through me. She's still Alara's mother, the lawyer insisted. A mother who planned to abandon her daughter and threatened to take her away from her father as leverage, Silas countered. Judge Winters has already issued a temporary restraining order. Your client would be wise to respect it. The lawyer retreated, but not before Hollis caught August's eye from across the room. She mouthed something that looked like, I'm sorry. Too late. Far too late. After the hearing, August and Alara exited through a side door to avoid the local reporters who had gathered. The story had become a minor sensation in their small town. The dance teacher, who faked a coma to cover financial crimes, the eye in the car. Alara was quiet. What are you thinking about? August asked gently. She stared out the window. Mom tried to say sorry. Did you see? I saw. Do you think she means it? August considered his words carefully. I think your mom is sorry she got caught. I'm not sure she's sorry for what she did. Alara nodded slowly. That's what I thought too. 3 weeks later, they returned to court for the bail hearing. This time, August left Alara with merit. The evidence against Hollis and Lennox had grown stronger as investigators uncovered more accounts, more victims of their schemes. Lennox had been siphoning money from his investment clients for years, and Hollis had helped launder it through her dance studio and various shell companies. As August took his seat, Hollis was let in. She looked thinner, her confident posture diminished. When the judge allowed defendants to speak, Hollis approached the microphone. Your Honor, I made terrible mistakes, she began, her voice shaking. I was caught up in something bigger than I understood. All I want now is the chance to make amends to my family, especially my daughter. August felt nothing as he watched his wife's performance. Once, her tears would have moved him to comfort her. Now, they seemed like one more manipulation. When it was his turn to speak, August approached the stand, his steps measured. Your Honor, Hollis Broderick isn't a victim of circumstance. She's a willing participant in fraud that spans years. She used our daughter as a pawn, threatening to separate us if Alara revealed her affair. She faked injuries to establish an alibi while stealing my identity. And when cornered, she and Keener discussed handling me so I wouldn't be a problem. He turned to look directly at Hollis. She wasn't coerced. She chose this repeatedly over her family. The judge denied bail reduction. As officers led Hollis away, she called out to August. Please, just let me explain. 5 minutes, that's all I ask. August paused, then walked to the barrier separating them. You tried to apologize the other day, he said quietly. Is that what you want? To say you're sorry? Hope flickered in Hollis's eyes. Yes, I know I can't fix this, but you gambled with our daughter's safety. August interrupted, his voice low but intense, each word precisely delivered like a hammer strike. You used her as a pawn, threatened her, tried to buy her silence with a puppy while you planned to abandon her. He stepped closer to the barrier separating them, close enough to see the mascara beginning to smudge beneath Hollis's right eye, close enough to smell the unfamiliar prison soap that had replaced her signature perfume. You know what keeps me up at night? he continued, his steady gaze never leaving hers. Wondering what would have happened to Alara if your car had actually killed you that day. If you died with all those accounts in my name, all that stolen money tied to my identity, I would have gone to prison. Our daughter would have lost both parents. Hollis's face crumpled. I never thought. That's right. You never thought about anyone but yourself. August's voice remained controlled, but the muscle in his jaw jumped. And now you want what exactly? Absolution? Understanding? For me to tell you it's okay, that everyone makes mistakes. He shook his head once definitively. You don't get forgiveness. Not from me. Not ever. The words hung between them, a door slamming shut. Hollis flinched as if he'd struck her, her body actually recoiling from the verbal blow. For a moment, the practiced mask dropped entirely, and August saw something raw and desperate in her eyes, perhaps the first honest emotion she'd shown him in years. Then the officers tugged her arms, resuming their path toward the holding area. This time, she didn't look back. August remained rooted to the spot, his heart hammering against his ribs. The anger that had sustained him through the hearing drained away, leaving a hollow weariness in its place. He hadn't raised his voice, hadn't cursed or threatened, simply stated the truth, and somehow that felt more final than any dramatic confrontation could have. Outside the courthouse, autumn sunlight spilled across the stone steps, at odds with the coldness August felt inside. Silas Breeden adjusted his wire-rimmed glasses and outlined next steps, his voice a calming monotone. The criminal case would take months, with multiple defendants and complex financial trails to untangle. But the civil suit to secure Alara's future and recover stolen assets could proceed more quickly. What about the house? August asked. It's tied up in the asset freeze for now, Silas explained. But given the evidence, I'm confident the court will release it to you eventually. August shook his head. I don't want it. Too many memories. Once this is over, I'll sell it. That night, he told Alara they would be moving. She took the news with surprising calm. Can we get a place with a workshop for you? She asked. Where you can teach me more welding? August smiled, genuinely for the first time in weeks. That's exactly what I was thinking. 2 months later, the civil case concluded. The criminal trial would drag on, but August had what he needed. Sole custody of Alara, a fair division of assets, and freedom from the web of lies his marriage had become. They sold the house for less than market value, but enough to buy a small ranch-style home on the outskirts of town. It had 3 bedrooms, a large garage perfect for August's metalwork, and 5 acres of land where Alara could play. Merritt helped them move, directing the movers with her characteristic efficiency. When the last box was unloaded, she handed August a beer. To new beginnings, she said, clinking her bottle against his. August nodded. Thank you. For everything. That's what friends do. Merritt hesitated. And maybe someday, more than friends. But not now. You and Alara need time. August appreciated her understanding. There was something between them, had been since they were teenagers, but now wasn't the time to explore it as winter settled over Oregon. August and Alara found their rhythm in the new house. The property had a weathered charm that spoke to August it needed work, just as they did. He spent weekends patching the roof, replacing rotted boards on the porch, bringing life back to neglected spaces. There was something healing in the physical labor, in making something broken whole again. Alara was in therapy twice a week, working through the betrayal and confusion with a kind-eyed counselor named Dr. Winters. At first, she'd been reluctant, sitting silent through sessions. But gradually the dam broke. She began bringing home artwork dark, chaotic pieces that evolved, over months, into brighter colors and clearer shapes. The counselor called it progress. August called it courage. He focused on rebuilding his business too, taking more custom metal fabrication jobs that showcased his artistic side and fewer construction gigs that merely paid the bills. His reputation for quality brought referrals, a decorative gate for the library, light fixtures for the renovated town hall, a memorial sculpture for the park. The work steadied him, gave him purpose beyond the wreckage of his marriage. And in the evenings, they worked together in the garage. August taught Alara the basics of metalworking, how to measure, cut, and join. She took to it naturally, her small hands surprisingly steady with the tools. "Why did you start making things, Dad?" she asked one night, as they finished a simple wind chime. August thought about it. "After my parents died, I needed something solid to hold on to. Metal doesn't lie. It doesn't pretend to be something it's not. What you see is what you get." Alara nodded thoughtfully. "Like you." He smiled, touched by her perception. "I try to be." She was quiet for a moment, then asked, "Do you think people like Mom ever regret it? The bad things they do?" August set down his tools, giving her question the consideration it deserved. "I think they regret losing control, not what they did." "That's sad," Alara said. "It is, but it's also why we have to be careful about who we trust." August brushed metal shavings from her sleeve. "Not everyone deserves it." Spring came, bringing new growth to their land and new clients to August's business. Merritt visited more frequently, sometimes bringing her 9-year-old son Declan, who got along well with Alara. Slowly, carefully, a new kind of family was taking shape. Hollis and Lennox both pleaded guilty to reduced charges, accepting prison sentences rather than risking trial. August didn't attend the sentencing. That chapter was closed, or so he thought. 6 months after moving into the new house, a package arrived. No return address, just August's name in unfamiliar handwriting. Inside was a burner phone and a note. "Watch once, then destroy." August waited until Alara was at school, then powered up the phone. There was a single video file. He pressed play. Lennox Keener's face filled the screen. He looked haggard, the prison jumpsuit hanging loose on his frame. "Broderick," he began without preamble. "If you're watching this, my associate followed instructions. I don't have long before they transfer me, so listen carefully. There's more you don't know. She was just a pawn. I wasn't the only one." Lennox glanced nervously over his shoulder. "The entire operation was bigger than you think. Hollis didn't know the half of it. There are others, powerful people, who used us both. They'll come looking eventually. The offshore account you found? There's another, bigger one. Account number #7221DR at First Geneva Bank. Password, Artemis False." He lowered his voice. "It's all there. The names, the dates, everything you need to." The video cut off abruptly. August stared at the blank screen, his mind racing. What was Lennox playing at? Was this a trap, one final attempt to entangle August in their schemes? Or was there something legitimate here, some larger conspiracy? He considered calling Silas, then decided against it. This might be nothing the desperate fabrication of a man facing years in prison. Or it might be something dangerous, something better left untouched. August powered down the phone, removed the battery, and placed both in a metal box in his workshop. He'd decide what to do about it later. "Dad, dinner's ready." Alara called from the house. August set the box on a high shelf. "Coming." He walked toward the warm light of his home, where his daughter waited. Behind him, the secrets remained locked away for now. Whatever Lennox had been trying to tell him, whatever danger might still lurk beyond his understanding, August would face it if, and when it became necessary. He was still a man fighting, still watching. But he was also a man healing, building something new from the wreckage of betrayal. That took precedence over anything else to tea the dinner table. Alara had set 3 places. Merritt was joining them, bringing dessert. As August washed his hands at the sink, he caught his reflection in the window. The lines around his eyes had deepened over the past year, but there was a clarity in his gaze that hadn't been there before. The clarity of a man who had faced deception and survived it. Outside, car headlights appeared in the driveway. Life moved forward, and for the first time in a long while, August was ready to move with it.